means so many things to so many people. And here are some definitions given. Architecture is the art and science of designing, planning and constructing buildings in their totality, taking into account their environment in accordance with the principles of utility, strength, and beauty. A definition given in the RA 9266, the Architecture Act of 2004 in the Philippines. Architecture is the molding and altering to human needs, the very face of the earth itself, according to William Morris. The masterly, correct, and magnificent play of masses brought together in light, according to Le Corbusier. An art for all to learn, because all are concerned with it, John Ruskin. The will of the epoch translated into space, according to Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Stone documents, an expression of unity and power of the nation, according to Adolf Hitler. A wide definition often includes the design of the total built environment from the macro level of town planning, urban design and landscape architecture, to the micro level of construction details and sometimes furniture. The term architecture is also used for the profession of providing architectural services. Architecture is the built realization of a particular concept or idea. This idea can be about construction, or the way people will use a building, or how the building fits into a physical or a social landscape. Architecture is a passion, a vocation, a calling, as well as a science and a business. It has been described as a social art and also an artful science. Architecture must be of the highest quality of design. Architecture provides, in the words of Marcus Vitruvius, the great Roman architect and historian, firmness, commodity, and the like. Architecture is everywhere. Each and every building, home, school, office, hospital, and supermarket were designed for their particular purpose. It is of vital importance that these buildings, and in turn the environments they form and the neighborhoods and the cities they are part of, are designed to be the best possible buildings for their specific context, use, and the people who use them. Architecture is the concept or idea which uses the medium of building, the process or techniques to convey. This is the science part of the profession. It becomes art when it starts to communicate its being because it affects people and their behavior. Everybody experiences architecture, whether you like it or not. It communicates via a whole range of stimuli, like visual, cultural, spiritual, sensual, tactile, atmospheric, and spatial. Architecture is a subject to a wide social, political, geographical, climatic, economic, or cultural influences. It reflects a society and communicates the values of the society. With this, architecture is a living history, an unwritten record, which is as revealing as any documents as presented. Architects are defined as professionally and academically qualified individuals to practice architecture. In the Philippines, are registered and licensed under RA 9266 with Certificate of Registration and Professional Identification Card, responsible for advocating the fair and sustainable development, welfare, and cultural expression of society's habitat in terms of space, forms, and historical context. There are three types of architects in construction. One is the architect of record, who is a registered and licensed architect, directly and professionally responsible for the total design of the project. He creates the plans, specifications, and contract documents. And he also assumes the civil liability of the plans, specifications, and contract documents he has signed and sealed. In short, he is the author of the design. Second is the architect in charge of construction, who is also a registered and licensed architect, and is directly and professionally responsible and liable for the construction supervision of the project. He is the one we often see in the construction site. And the third one is a consulting architect, a registered and licensed architect who is professionally and academically qualified with exceptional or recognized expertise or specialization in any branch of architecture. He has no civil liability on the project unless he or she participates or contravene the legal functions of the architect of record. Any architect has a free will to choose where to specialize. He could be a residential architect, a landscape architect, an urban designer, or an industrial architect, a commercial architect, a conservation architect, an interior architect, or a sustainable or green architect. How do I become a licensed architect? First, you need to be a Bachelor of Science in Architecture graduate, a minimum of 5 years in college or university. Then, complete a 3,840 hours or equivalent to 2 years of diversified experience in architecture. Then you can take and pass the architectural licensure examination, which is usually given in the month of January and June. Architecture students' major subjects are usually but not limited to the following: architectural design, history of architecture, theory of architecture, architectural visual techniques, graphic standards, professional practice, building utilities, building technology, Philippine building laws, construction management, strength of materials, and structural design. General practice of architecture basically includes the act of planning and architectural designing, structural conceptualization, specifications of materials, supervising and giving general administration, and architectural design in engineering structures or any part thereof. What are the major work options for an architect? First is to practice the profession. You can build your own firm and be a freelance architect. You could also work in the government where architect services are needed, or in a private architectural or construction firm. You could also teach architecture professionally, given that you secured the required units to teach. Why choose to be an architect? Architects could make life better for people and its surrounding. Architect is a maker and not just a consumer who, through education and experience, develop a powerful gift to translate ideas into a proposal or an architecture with a collective space, which is personal to the users that will definitely impact their way of living. Architects' radical creative thinking are necessary for a better world of tomorrow by providing creative, sensitive, innovative, and sustainable architecture. Are you ready to shape the world? Be an architect!